like to talk about astral projection and the beyond body. With astral projection, I'd like to offer a few tips, and for the beyond body, I wanted to give you some updates on some things with me and things that I feel that I've confirmed in the process of the beyond body. But let me begin with astral projection because I know that there are many people right now that are in the process of attempting astral projection, trying to leave their body. And, I know some of you are having some difficulty. And what I wanted to offer to you are just a few things. Those of you who have followed my channel, by the way, you know my philosophy with this. And regardless, I will continue to have that same philosophy. That philosophy is that each and every individual in this world is able to astral project. It's inside of you. And, I don't know that any one technique would work for every single person. I think it's going to be different and unique for each individual person. I think that astral projection is instinctual. Yes, I also believe that there are times that we do leave our bodies and we don't even realize it. And if that's the case, and when I say not realizing it, I mean when we're sleeping and when we believe that we're dreaming. But if we don't realize that we're leaving our bodies, then that means that the actual thing itself is effortless, that there is no effort that's being put. So learning to leave your body, really honestly, is about letting go, about trying to quiet the noise that's around you in the 3D world. All of the things that are going on. I mean, obviously there's the elephant in the room with, the virus and all those other things, but there are other things also that are going on. All the stresses that we have in our life. When we do astral projection, the best way to astral project is to quiet those things down. Now, quieting those things down doesn't mean that they're going to go away. They're going to exist. But in order for us to be able to go out into the astral plane, I believe that one of the key things to do is to quiet those things down so that we can tap into that natural ability that we have. And I think it's natural. It's interesting. I've been asked about my process in astral projection before. People have asked me, well, what exactly specifically do you do? And I'll just have to be honest with you, especially nowadays, I don't really do anything except have the intent in my mind that I'm going or that I want to leave my body. Intent is so, so important. Having that belief and having the intent that you can do it. Not that you're just thinking in your mind, oh, I've heard about this and, I don't know if it's possible or not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But having a belief that this is possible, that this is a thing, that you can do this. Not only that it's possible, but that it's real and, that you can do it. You have to believe in yourself. That's to me, one of the most important things. So intent really goes into this. Also, relaxation, and I've talked about it before, relaxation, which you can reach through meditation. Super, super, super important. Being able to relax. And as I have said before, much more difficult than it sounds because, again, of all the noise around us in this 3D world and all the challenges that we have. So having the intent and being able to relax are two of the foundations of being able to do this. Now, the other thing is being able to get into that in-between space between being awake and being asleep. But that takes a lot of patience and a lot of time. And I believe the only way to really truly reach that is through meditation, relaxation, things of that nature. So, in order to be able to get to that point, you really have to do that. Another thing I wanted to discuss with you in regards to astral projection is, well, some people have told me in comments or whatnot that they have felt that they were actually leaving their body, or that they were getting to a point where maybe they were there or they saw certain things and they were like, wow, is this astral projection? What I say to this is, because I can't be in the actual experience with you, I really don't. The only actual person I can really trust is you in your statements, and I do trust you. What I would like you to do, for those of you who are at that place, is to trust your instincts. If your gut tells you that something happened, then more than likely it did, because your instincts aren't going to lead you wrong. The one thing about astral projection is this, and people have certain expectations of what they're going to see. What I would ask you to do is to take all of those expectations and throw them out the window. Just get rid of them, because honestly, you may see a variety of different things. A lot of it may actually depend on your experiences, the way you were raised. Our mind has all of this data inside of it, or, that we carry inside of our mind, our brains, or whatever. And it uses all of those things, all of our experiences, I believe, to make sense of many of the things that we see out there. Because in the astral plane, I do believe that there are things that are way beyond our comprehension, only because we are here in this 3D world and we're experiencing a certain thing. You have to be open, and more than likely, you will not see what you think you're going to see. I know I haven't in my experiences. My experiences have gone way beyond what I could ever, ever, ever have imagined. So keep that in mind. The next thing I'd like to talk to you about, and I'd like to give you some updates on the beyond body, because I know that there are those of you who are also interested in the beyond body and my experiences in the beyond body and my continued experimentation in that realm. One of the things I wanted to talk about, and one of the things I've been thinking about, was this sense of movement. And as I've told you before, in the beyond body, there are times when I feel as if, and again, when I say I feel this doesn't mean that in the 3D world that my body is actually turning or raising up or going in a downward angle. It means that on some level, some dimension, that's what is happening, or it just means that that's what I'm feeling, and that is what my mind is using to interpret what I'm feeling at that moment. So, what I've noticed is that, number one, I've told you about that sense of the beyond body coming. It's like, you know, something will happen and it'll be like a light switch, something flips on, and suddenly I'm in that in between state. And even though there's darkness, it's a different kind of a darkness. It's a different thing. I'm aware and I know it's coming. And in my thoughts, I always say, okay, here we go. And when that happens, the first thing that usually happens is the feeling that I have is that I'm turned in a specific direction. It would be the equivalent of if you were on a mechanism like a saucer, let's say a dish or something like that, and let's say you were laying down on that dish, and that dish could move in 360 degrees. You could be turned in one direction, turned in another direction, but this dish also had the ability to, if you were lying on this dish, you could be moved and angled upwards, moved and angled downwards. You can move in space in all these different angles. This is the feeling that I felt each time that I have left my body. Just about each time. Sometimes I've turned in, left or right, or felt myself move up or down, moved for just a little bit, just a few moments, and then arrived in the place that I was in. Sometimes I've felt that same movement where I've turned left, turned right, moved up, moved down, and then I accelerated and I was moving and moving and moving and moving and moving and accelerating and going further and further and further. So in some way, this is some kind of, I believe, navigation of some sort. And I don't understand it, at least my 3D body doesn't understand it, but the expand itself, the being that is in control of all this certainly does, on some level, understands the navigation and understands what direction to go to. I mean, I suppose you could equate it to knowing where you're going in a car or knowing where you're going in a plane. If all those things, they have navigation, they go in specific directions, they turn left and then they turn right at certain points, and then you arrive at your destination. To me, at this point, it may almost be as simple as that, in being able to go in specific directions. And depending on what direction I go in and how far I go, depends on what reality or where I go. And they're an infinite number. And I say this again, an infinite number of realities and places that I can move to. As my mom has characterized me, I do believe that I am a traveler. Yes, among other things, I do believe that that's what I am, and I do thoroughly enjoy it. Anyway, I'd like to end this here. Definitely, I will make you aware when I have another experience. I'll get right back on here, and if that happens tonight, I'll get right back on here tonight and do it again. But for now, I'm going to end it. Thank you so much for coming on another journey with me, and until next time, take care.